All right, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start now. So obviously we're just picking knives here, running through the subspace, getting to the first fight, which is Matt here. Fast, strong, strong is what you just saw there. Which is actually, you'll notice that's a setup for almost every character that I consider to be weak characters. Which weak characters does not mean that the character itself is bad. Knives being ranked second in Boss Rush at the moment obviously means she's not a weak character. It's just her max strength stat tends to line up around where you'll see Scott's or like Kim's max strength stat. So this is a very common setup that you'll do for weak characters, which is fast, strong, and then strong knocks Matt down. Then pause here. You'll notice after the last strong, I go up and then I do like an up down motion here. The reason why I do that is because when you knock him out on the ground this way, for some reason, if you just run up and try to pound him, it's not gonna work. You'll end up doing whatever your down. Sorry about that. Whatever your down strong is. Let me get water, because that was horrible. Okay, good. Okay, good. Anyways, yeah, why I moved up and down there is to like stall it. Sorry about that, Wanter. Yeah, so I stalled doing my down strong by like jittering up and then jittering down just a little bit so that this will actually hit, and then you just pound him on the ground. And that's how you do the early match setup. I'm gonna try to not go over too much that I went in the Negascott video that isn't exactly relevant. Like, I mean, I'll just say briefly, if you haven't seen the Negascott video, killing enemies on the ground is faster by anywhere from half a second to around a second. We do it for Matt and Lucas because it's the most consistent for all the characters. Fast, strong, and then you're just gonna, if you just hit strong again, you'll actually not do that move. What you want to do is down strong with knives specifically, and then Lucas is gonna fly over here, and because her down strong is actually pretty powerful, you can just, if you delay your slide so that you're sliding around here, you'll do like a full damage slide, and that full damage slide will be enough to kill Lucas. If you don't delay the slide, you can actually KO him, but he'll do the thing where he gets back up for some reason. I don't know why that happens, but it does. Alright. Time for everyone's favorite strat about knives, which is the fastest Lynette kill in the game. I don't think I really need to explain much of this. Yeah, it's just that. You go here, you move down, you jump, you use knives twice, Lynette gets obliterated. The reason why this works is because when Lynette puts her fist in the ground, it actually makes it so that the knives won't launch her out. Because usually when you throw knives at someone, they go into like this fire state and then they get knocked back. For Lynette stuck in this animation, you can just kill her outright with knives. And as you can imagine, that makes for an insanely fast Lynette kill. Todd, we're going to do for Todd what we do for literally most characters, which is just fast, strong. It works. But then right at the end here, you notice I didn't grab a trash can. I actually am jumping and I'm throwing the knives at him. Because again, this is a special animation. He can't be knocked out of this, so you're just going to destroy him with knives. This is the first like actual mistake in the run where I barely missed this first knives by like, we're talking literal frames. So rather than having the first knives hit, I just have to do that. If you have the first knives hit, the second pair will also kill, so it doesn't really matter. What else could I say about this? You'll notice in the Negascott video, I mentioned standing on the box and doing that and saving a few seconds. Because of how bad the RNG is, and also because I think when this run was recorded, that strat wasn't even used. You generally don't want to do that for weak characters because it feels like Roxy always teleports if you do it. I don't know why that happens, but it just feels like Roxy will always teleport if you do it. So honestly, I just recommend taking that second loss just to make sure you can make it past Roxy. Roxy's pretty similar to the Negascott video. You just want to do trash can swings on her. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, that's actually really important. You're probably never going to do this in a run, and I actually don't recommend doing it because going for it could mean that you miss time another swing. But you'll see here, I guess I'll slow it down, why not? So normally when you hit Roxy, you can only get a certain amount of hits. But you'll see here, I get 1, 2, 3, 1 in the air. And typically, you wouldn't be able to get another hit in here. Roxy would just be like, oh, I've hit my limit and now I'm going to fall. But if you stop swinging for literal frames, because that's how much time you have to hit her before she falls to the ground. So you stop swinging for literal frames and you start swinging again, you can actually get an extra hit in here, which is what happened right there. So I actually got an extra hit. It doesn't save too much time, and it's an insanely hard trick that honestly I think I just got by accident. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think I wasn't spamming fast enough. Alright. Okay, so I'm doing Hyper Knife with Robot. This is possible with normal, because for some reason Robot has a special property where he doesn't catch on fire, and what that lets you do is basically this. Yeah. So you just run in as long as you're above Robot and Robot's like here ish, because you want the bottom knife to hit him up so that when you swing again, your next pair of knives will also connect and it just chains. Again, you can do this with non-hyper knives. It's easier with hyper knives because hyper knives can throw knives to a point where the next time she throws knives, it's actually higher than the first time. With normal knives, you're not going to get that. If you're struggling with that strat as normal knives, I just recommend going for the trash can. All right. So I'll let this play and then I'll do the slow-mo on this one. This is what I like to consider weak character Robot strat. And yeah. So there it is. I will go back and explain. I'd like to get as far into the starting of the fight as possible. So yo. Okay, so rather than what you normally do with strong characters like Negascott, Steven, and Wallace, and for some reason this is different in any percent, which is why a lot of people consider that any percent bosses are different from boss rush. You can't kill the boss rush fighting robot with a weak character without doing prior damage to the hands. For some reason, it caps your rebound damage at around 144 and doesn't kill the hand when you hit them. So what you have to do is at the start of the fight, you notice I get some double jump damage in there, and then I run in here to get double jump damage there. That is near the perfect amount of damage to where, okay, now I can just do the rebound strat normally. So after doing that damage that you did, now the hands are gonna hit you. You notice I jump, get the rebound. Now I'm all set up to do it. I actually catch myself in air. You don't actually have to because it kind of doesn't make the fight faster because you still have to wait for the hands to come down, so you know. And then I do it again, jump in the opposite direction of the hand, rebound back, and both of the hands are dead. If you try to do that without doing prior damage beforehand in boss rush, the hands are not going to die from that. Unless you get lucky and end up double hitting a hand, which is not very common. Wanter, I saw that you said you needed tips on this. Is there anything in specific that you'd like to know? How do you do it with an item again? I would recommend never doing it with an item because that strat is the object rebound strat, and it's very inconsistent because it's really difficult. And also, in boss rush, it doesn't really save too much time. KK, but still. Nah, I just recommend going for this, because you can get it consistent. It's not... I mean, it is RNG. Sometimes you won't rebound off of the walls here. Like, sometimes you'll get launched, and then you'll just stick to the wall and fall down. That doesn't give you rebound damage at all. You need help getting this more often. I think it would be better if you sent me a clip of, like, some of your attempts that failed, so I would know what you're doing wrong. For any percent... Okay, so any percent robot is completely different. Any percent robot, you don't do prior damage, and also any percent robot has a few different ways that it launches the fist down. Boss rush fighting robot's actually a lot more consistent than any percent for some reason. Also, in any percent, there's a setup you can get that doesn't guarantee, but like semi-guarantees that you'll get like the double hit, which is the fastest kill you can get on robot. In boss rush, that doesn't exist. So yeah. That's really all I could say about that. Alright, let's go on to twins. I think if I remember correctly, I get a really good twins here. Where, yeah, hold on. Yeah, okay, I get a really good twins here. I'll slow-mo this just because it's easier to see both of them and what happens here. So obviously, a lot of RNG is involved in twins. Just because of the fact that, you know, you can run at them. One of the twins can block you. One of the twins can try to punch you. They don't exactly have to be as spaced apart as they were in this clip. They can be further spaced. They can be closer spaced. They can reach you sooner by running sooner for some reason sometimes. But generally, what I did here is forward, down. So this twin, the white... we'll just call it white and like purple, because I don't actually know their names. I know it's like Kyle and Kevin or whatever. I think I don't remember, but I don't know which one's which. So this guy is gonna come at you first, and he actually has less health than the purple one, so it's okay to have him block here. Yeah. It's okay to have him block here because as long as I'm hitting that twin, you know, this guy has less health, so it doesn't matter too much if I'm missing a few hits on him. So he blocks the first shot, and then I have both of them in the fast strong combo. We do 3 fast strongs, and then jump and knives. And as long as you've done enough damage, that should just obliterate them. They both get KO'd. And that's basically it. Negascott is straightforward. One thing I will mention is, for Negascott, you're basically just hitting knives. It says that the knives are doing 30. They don't actually do 30. If they all connect at the same point, it looks like it's 30. It's actually 90 damage. Thank you, Wanter. I appreciate the compliment. But yeah, it's actually 90 damage. It's just that all of the 330s from the knives are in the exact same spot when you're hitting Negascott, and as well as when you're hitting Super Gideon, which you're gonna see. So I'm not gonna slow down this at all. It's understandable. I will say when you're inputting this, make sure that you center yourself slightly above Negascott, or else you can end up pressing down for too long as you're putting the knives out, and yeah, it can cause some problems. I take a small time loss here just for not doing, just for expecting a back attack to hit when it didn't, but you know. There's nothing you could do about the frame 1 fireball. It's just something that Negascott does sometimes. You just have to dodge it and move on. But you should understand that strat. Okay. Gideon, all I have to do is explain here. So, a Gideon lock is not what I just did there, but it's what you try to set up for, which is you want to do something that's going to ground him immediately, and then as he's on the ground, you wait for the little like shaky animation, because that means he's about to get up. Jump and double jump. For every character in the game, if you jump and double jump as he's getting up, he'll be forced to block the damage from your double jump. And what that means is that he's not going to be able to go invincible, and he's not going to be able to do meteors. It's a Gideon lock because it locks him out of doing the two things he loves to do that both waste an insane amount of time as he gets up. I don't take credit for this. Bylayer found that the Gideon lock actually worked. I found a few strats to do it for other characters though. Tips for this guy on any percent? That depends on the character that you're playing, and that depends on if you have your fighting technique or not, or a secret, whatever your tech 2 is called. That really depends. What I would say is unanimous, whatever it's called, about this fight for every single character. If you want to knock him down as quickly as you can, and you want to stand near him, and you want to do the double jump, because that's going to stop him from doing meteors, and that's going to stop him from doing invincibility. If you hit him too much without knocking down, he's just going to go into one of those things in general. For Negascott, I think the current strat for this guy on Negascott is to just spam thrust, like thrust him, and then go near him and double jump, and then just thrust again after a certain amount of time. He won't block the thrust as long as you wait a little bit and space yourself well. You know what I mean? But anyways, this is yeah. For knives, it's a little more special, because what we do here, I'm gonna double, and then I'm doing double jump into knives throw. This is a little tricky to get used to at first, but once you get used to the rhythm, you can get it pretty consistently. But basically, we get to hit him for 90 damage. It says 30, it just overlaps all the damage values. And then we just trap him in a corner, and we kill him by continuously repeating this, because knives throws are unblockable attacks. You can't block the knives, so we just hit through his block a billion times. I just did pounds there. After doing this for enough time, you'll sort of get a feel for when you can just stamp him to death. Gideon 2, all I really want to explain for Gideon 2 is this fight is, you either do the one cycle strat, which only a few characters can do, but for knives and for everyone else who has to do this, like Scott and Kim, you're gonna end up doing the weak 2 cycle, because these characters can't one cycle. They just don't deal enough damage. So we're gonna do the same thing we did in the Negascott video, except we have to do the second part again. So stand about right here. You're gonna swing. You're gonna count your swings to 6 instead of 5, because you're doing less damage. You actually have to do 6 swings. So we do 6 swings. The last damage value is going to be, different from the others. That's your cue. Stop swinging because you want him to do fists. He does fist. We keep swinging on him. And then 2 cycle is literally just he closes his fist. You count it again. You're gonna see the 30 pop up, and he's gonna do fists again. So so weird thing here. I actually go into this fight with Hyper, which I didn't even expect. Hyper does. There's a lot of fights that Hyper doesn't really help in, and this is definitely one of them, because it can mess up strats. Just because if you're moving faster to another place and you're used to not moving faster in another place, that can affect the enemy AI by a lot. And I think you'll actually see that here, where I think I miss. Do I miss this? Okay, no. Okay, I don't miss him running at me. What I do miss is I dash so fast with Hyper here that I actually go through him as I'm hitting him, and as a result, I have to hit him backwards. So yeah, a small time loss there, but I think the rest of this fight was relatively clean. I think that there was one mistake, but it was a really good recovery, if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. Once this happens, if he counters you, the first thing that should be on your mind is, how do I knock him down? How do I restrain him? Because if the first thing that's on your mind is, I should pick the sword back up, incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. He's going to hit you. He's just gonna, and you're just gonna be locked in permanently, like, oh, I keep getting hit because I'm trying to pick up the sword, rather than restraining him first by like knocking him down or something. So the first thing you want to do is just go on him. What I do here is I do a double jump aerial strat. I actually missed the double jump here because, again, Hyper didn't. I did this way too fast. So I missed the double jump, but luckily I recover it well with going into a Hyper combo there. So hey, maybe Hyper wasn't a bad thing in this fight after all. And then we just finish it off right here. And that's the end of it. So does anyone have any questions? Or I should say, Wanter, do you have any questions?